Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the Vampire Counts led by Scrambled Egg Special facing off against Kislev, who shall be helmed by Subutai here on Borderload Landing. And this is patch 5.1, so Kislev has received some nerfs, and there have been some buffs to the Vampire Counts. Nothing too crazy. I know that their Black Knights got a little bit of a buff, and what else really got hit on their roster? Not too much. I know the Chariots, the Black Coaches, are quite a bit better in this patch with some of the Chariot changes, so yeah, very excited to kind of see how the meta shakes up. Now, as far as the old Vampire Counts go, it is going to be the classic, the tried and true Crypt Horrors. An amazing unit, right? Good armor piercing, good damage output, 39 melee attack really isn't bad for a monstrous infantry unit with poison. They regenerate and they're fast. What's not to love? Now, very vulnerable against Kislev hybrid shooting. If you're talking about Kossars or armored Kossars or Kossars with bows, Ice Guard, whatever, they can get melted pretty quickly, but even still, they're no joke. And up in the sky, we have a Palpatine Lord. I love this from Scrambled Egg Special. This guy's dirt cheap, like dirt cheap, and he does have a bound lesser raised dead, which is kind of cool. It's got the basic Raised Dead as well as Invocation and also Scroll of Power to decrease cooldowns by 60 seconds. So, okay, it's kind of a cool one. You basically just get like double Raised Dead. That ain't bad. The rest of the army is going to be zombies and skeletons. The DPS coming in pretty much exclusively from the Crypt Horrors, 2 White Kings, and it is going to be a Corpse Cart with the Unholy Lodestone and another Corpse Cart back here. Looking at the forces of Kislev, it is going to be a pretty cool build here from Subutai. He's got armored Kossars in the front, no surprises, so they are the top tier front line. Backed up by the Kossars with spears, the bows. So these guys are just there to survive against cavalry and shoot bows at the big monsters. The Elemental Incarnate has always been pretty good against Vampire Counts. It's a Mortis engine, so it can drain down the infantry, and it does also just tear through whatever it hits. Now, this thing used to be better against Vampire Counts when it was an anti-large monster, but thankfully now it's just good against like one thing. And it does have, yeah, of course, the crumpling, so it is elemental instability. Kostalton is a very cool choice. He does have AoE healing with his ability, the Rasputin's Prayer. Yeah, or Salak's Lullaby. We'll call it Rasputin's Prayer today. And also Ursun's Ward. So when he gets very beat up, he starts to heal. Incredibly tough to finish. But yeah, he's, does fire damage, has AP on his bear. And it is going to be a Frost Maiden of Tempest. Very neat stuff. Very neat stuff. My only concern about the build here is that it might be vulnerable against mass Crypt Horrors. Like, if these get shut down, the armored Kossars, the rest of the army will fold up to Crypt Horrors pretty badly. But, it's all going to come down to micro. So let the games begin. The battle is now on, ladies and gentlemen, and this game does have a bit of build-up. So the Vampire Counts player does end up kind of assessing his opponent's army and just gathering the tools he needs to alpha strike it. So we do see Crypt Ghouls coming as a call-in here. It is going to be Crypt Ghouls. Rasputin does come forward looking for a fight here, so maybe he's going to get one. He does get in there. Ooh, look at that, Rasputin punching that guy. That White King does get domed, and Kostalton obviously would crush these guys in combat. We do also see the Elemental Incarnate coming in just super jacked and pissed. He would slap up a White King as well. But overall, Kislev is just going to kind of keep the Vampire Counts back. And we are going to see some Crypt Ghouls grabbing the point. Any other sneaky, it is going to be Crypt Ghouls here. Basic Crypt Ghouls do not have stock, but the ROR, the Feasters in the Dusk, or Feasters in the Night, whatever the hell they're called, they do have stock. So those ones can get sneaky. Anyways, it is going to be a bit of a build-up here as we do see Kostalton heading to the third objective, seeing if he could get any freebies, but nothing was free there. Honestly, might not be a bad idea, but you could get caught and trapped by Crypt Horrors. You have to be very, very careful about that. Call-in for the Vampire Counts is going to be more units and more Skeleton Spears, and for Subutai on the other side, it is going to be Kislevite Warriors to saturate in, and they're pretty damn good against Vampire Counts. They, of course, have anti-large, so they can fight Crypt Horrors, and are resilient enough to kind of stand up to the chaff units if need be. Crypt Ghouls is going to be creeping around the backside, looking to swarm around, which I like that. In response, Subutai calls out some Kossovite dervishes, and is probably going to be looking to hunt down those Crypt Ghouls in the bushes. Granted, you don't want to be fighting them in the trees, right? Fighting in the trees would not be good for the light cavalry, and it looks like there are going to be some Black Knights called out for the Vampire Counts. So these things did get a cost reduction, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what other buffs they got. I think it just was a cost reduction. Even still, they're going to be hustling up and looking for any prizes they can find. These Kossovite dervishes certainly in a little bit of danger there in the woods. But the two battle lines are about to clash. Just give it a minute here. And the Vampire Counts are now going to be engaging in. And here we go. So Kostalton does engage against the old White King in the front and has been getting pretty good charges so far. He does take a little bit of a spanking as he does retreat, but he's got a 141 value, White King up to 149. So who's the victor there? We'll see. Crypt Ghouls getting focused, though. They do get nailed down by the armored Kossars. And it's definitely encouraging. The games I've seen with Kislev, they've been strong, but it hasn't been like some unbeatable war machine like it was. I think the nerfs to the Kossars in tandem with some of the other nerfs they got to their elite cavalry have been good, and it's exciting. It's a faction I've always wanted to play, married to a Polish woman. I got to be able to play Kislev, but yeah, time will tell. So in the back, we do see Palpatine dropping a summon on top of the Armored Kossars here, so that is very good. That's going to be disrupting the shooting, allowing the big scary monsters to saturate in. And in the woods, we have Crypt Ghouls and Black Knights circling about, getting ready to party. Palpatine, in the meantime, just dropping zombie summons, and Subutai is going to be using his Griffin Legion to try and clear those zombies out very quickly. Not going to be a quick, they have 10,000 HP. It still takes a moment, but another zombie summon, hey, that's not bad at all. So in the front, we get a Vargulf coming in, so it is going to be a big Vargulf, and we have a Kaiju fight. It is going to be the Elemental Incarnate, as well as the Arwar things in the woods. These things do prevent healing, and the Vargulf is getting smacked up pretty good, and is honestly going to want to be retreating. Vargulfs did get a buff in this patch as well. They're immune to flanking now, so if you do try and flank them, they are immune to that, because they're like fast, big, scary vampire monsters. Invocation going down, but oh, look at that. What a nice play there. So this thing is not being healed right now at all because of the tainted dark blood. And Subutai is going to be dropping a Blizzard right there, which is going to be landing on top of Skeleton Spears. Blizzard, not terribly useful here. It can be good against Graveguard, which are pretty common in this matchup, or at least used to be. But it's not going to get a lot of value against just Skeletons. It still doesn't hurt, but not the best thing in the world. So the Elemental Incarnate, as well as the Mordheim Beowulfs, do get into the secondary line and are going to be going after the Vargulf, but the Vargulf is going to be getting some love from the homies. The Cryptors do come in. Maybe going to be able to save him, although he does get slapped up once again by the Elemental Incarnate. Is he going to start crumbling? 8 leadership. Vargulfs do have passive healing, so if they can stabilize, that's going to be quite good. In the secondary row, Subutai does kind of forget about some of his Kosovo dervishes, and the Dire Pack is going to be paying them a visit and chewing them down. But taking a big macro look at the battlefield, let's look here. So we got Kislevite warriors holding it down, but overall the Armored Kossars are getting smashed. Vargeist are an amazing glass cannon unit. They hit super, super hard. Hard armor piercing, very good counter against these Armored Kossars. And the Cryptors are also really good against them if left to their own devices. So the Cryptors were able to push up and shrew through much of the Kislev front line. Like if we look here, we see Kislev faltering here. The front line here is in some danger. The Armored Kossars here trading well into the Skeleton Spears. So too are these Armored Kossars. But overall, the Elite Vampire Count units seem to be doing work. And the Kislevites have pushed into a pretty deep overextension here. The Mordheim Beowulfs have been chewed to pieces. We do see the Vargulf was able to cackle and escape and is now getting healed. Vargeists have come in to help, and those overcasted invos are going to be nice. Now, Subutai is responding with another Blizzard, it looks like, but it's pretty much dead weight here. It's going to kill a Skeleton Warrior unit, which is like 300 gold, and I think that was even a summon, I'm not sure. Kostalton is trying his best to chew through these units, but it kind of looks like Count Chocula and the Vampire Counts are getting the edge on Kislev in a lot of these engagements. On the backfield, obviously Griffin Legion are an insanely powerful unit if they can get the charge, but how do you deny a big, scary, heavy cavalry charges? You attack them with flying units, right? So the Vargeists seem to be acting as a very excellent counter here so far. Swooping in against the Griffin Legion, with Cryptors on the ground doing quite a bit of work as well. And the Wing Lancers, though, with a nice flank charge here in their heroic charge, it should be a pretty brutal impact here against the Cryptors. You're probably going to see the HP start to diminish very quickly. Yeah, that charge is fat. Thousands of HP dripping off those Cryptors right there, as they get a little bit of fire support from the Kossars and Spears, who have rallied from the initial conflict. And it looks like Kislev is going to manage to hold on to its back objective with the combination of the Warriors and Halberds. Some doggies on their way up. The Dire Pack looking to try and make their way in to help. But I don't think they're going to be able to, wrestle this back objective. Now, as far as the middle goes, though, Kislev is holding on to it, but not by much. It looks like it's on the cusp of flipping to the Vampire Counts. Rasputin trying his best here with the Elemental Incarnate, getting some fat heals from Rasputin with Salix Lullaby. Mordheim Beowulfs doing some good work. Everything that they're hitting here is going to have the Dark Tainted Blood, so they will not be getting the healing benefits. But is it going to be enough? Scrambled Egg Special calling in more Vargeists, which have been incredibly effective. Obviously, Kislev has a nice fighting pocket here, very elite. Kostalton and all these really expensive units, but all the areas where Kostalton and the Elemental Incarnate are not fighting are a little bit dodgy. We do see another Blizzard going down, but Blizzard's going to do nothing here. It's literally going to kill a zombie unit. So the Lore Magic really doing them dirty this time around. Frost Maiden here, potentially going to be targeted as well. We do see Palpatine up here in the sky, probably thinking about flying in and maybe going after the Frost Maiden. So here he descends, the Lord of the Night, cackling super evil all the way down, and the Ice Witch is going to be in some danger. Currently 500 HP. The Hellseed is a respectable fighter. The Mount, the Necromancer isn't the best, but overall, that probably is going to be the end. She's going to be trying to ice skate out of here, and it looks like she got bonked pretty good by that Necromancer. And a good night and farewell. Here in the back, Kosovo Dervishes trying to intercept the Vargeist, but really, really nice micro from the Scrambled Egg Special. He is able to get those guys back up in the sky. On the back objective here, we do see the Kislevite warriors and the armored Kossars, valiantly holding the back objective. Certainly doing a very, very good job back here. But, ladies and gentlemen, is it going to be enough? Find out on today's episode of Dragon Ball Z. I don't think so. The White King is going to be able to occupy these units. Vampire counts seem to be dominating most fights. All the Kislevite heavy cavalry keep getting intercepted by the Vargeists. And, the big crowd clearing magic, oftentimes you'd see Graveguard Grey opens in this matchup to cut through Kislev, but he's really kind of countered the Blizzard play by just bringing absolute trash infantry, zombies and skeletons, with Cryptors and Vargeists being the epicenter of his build. Rasputin here in a little bit of trouble. Salak's Lullaby is going to be going down, and you can see it is doing some AoE damage, and overall the Incarnate Elemental has been doing great. 2,700 value, but he can't be everywhere at once. He's certainly been struggling. Here we see Vargeist taking apart armored Kossars once again. I really like this color scheme too for the Vampire Counts. That's a pretty rad one, like that lilac, kind of a sickly pink color. Yeah, I think that looks really, really rad. But armored Kossars chewed down here, and we do see Kossovite Dervishes being taken apart by the Vargeist units as well, but they are able to crumble one of them. Subutai going to be calling in Griffin Legion. Value lead pretty massively favoring the Vampire Counts, and Vampire Counts, of course, do have a shit ton of healing. Kislev has been healing a bit, but not quite. Like Kislev, when they used to have that really OP item, I think with the Brazier, yeah, it was on the Patriarch. Basically, it was passive nonstop healing. Kislev could out-heal the Vampire Counts. But since that's been changed and it's no longer, it doesn't do that anymore, it doesn't provide constant AoE healing, Vampire Counts can definitely out-heal Kislev under the right circumstances. So here we have Griffin Legion on their way up. Going to be sprinting in, but they're just going to get countered again. What's going to happen here is Scrambled Egg is going to be dropping a zombie summon, probably to tar pit them, and with his Palpatine character, who's very cheap, allowing him to go much wider. And the Vargeists are probably just going to swarm in. Maybe you don't even need the zombie summon, right? It's going to be enough. Yeah, and Griffin Legion are amazing. Even if they do get charged like this, they'll put up a good fight. They're still hardy Kislevites, but it ain't going to be enough. We got Rasputin fully surrounded, not really any threats on the back objective. Couple Kislevite warriors maybe looking like they want to make their way over there. But this is going to be the end of the Griffin Legion, and I would imagine the end of the game. As we get some Crypticals heading over there, it ain't my first rodeo. I think that the Griffin Legion are going to come in, maybe get a nice little charge here on the Vargeists, but we are going to be seeing Scrambled Egg Special pass him. I'd be really surprised. I mean, we see a dense mass of Skeleton Spearmen and just tons of chaff, which Kislev is good at getting through chaff units, but Ice Maiden's Kiss probably being a preferable option, like cheaper, more spammable. And you see the Griffin Legion just getting mulched right here. And that, ladies and gentlemen, has got to be GG well played. Rasputin gets taken down. Kislev basically using the dreaded Reaganomics now, the trickle-down theory. And it ain't working. It is looking pretty bleak. GG well played. Cool to see a faction that was considered kind of mid-tier last season going toe-to-toe with Kislev. These are both really solid tournament players. Kislev can bleed. Now, I obviously think Kislev, if they had brought maybe a more optimal build, maybe better engagements, they could have won the game. But overall, yeah, cool to see, man. That was fun. The Palpatine build, not bad at all. Cryptors looking great as always. 2,300. Man, look at the value on these Cryptors. 19, 23, 15. Really, really good. 21, 14, 13. Pretty much all of his elite units performed except the Vargulf, which was still fun to see. It's always a cool monster. That's it, guys. GG well played. Mordheim Beowulfs held the 400 value. Griffin Legion still got good value, even though they were getting hammered, but they were summoned twice. So it's not like they paid for themselves. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for today. Looking forward to exploring Kislev in this update. That should be fun. I think their win rate's pretty humble right now. I think it's around 50%. Granted, we barely have any games played, so it's very early on. GG well played, guys. See you around, and that is it for tonight.